We now live in a transformative time. It's a time that matches the vision of Wilf. People know, in this country and all around the world, people know things are not going well. You have these floods here, this severe weather, and California has its 1,000-year-old redwoods burning, and Australia has a drought. These severe weather conditions are, of course, connected. Each one cannot be directly attributed to global warming, but people know that things are changing and that big threats lie ahead. I think we would not have had that without that history of those conferences, and I think we would not have had those conferences without the strategic move that Wilf made to get non-governmental organizations officially recognized as part of the UN system. People can see, ordinary people can see, that the inequity in our society has gone to such incredible extremes in which no hedge fund manager can be paid too much, nor any worker paid too little. This is injustice in the extreme. And now, of course, we see the end of the era of cheap oil on which our society has rested so comfortably for so long. That's what makes this a transformational time. And when you live in a transformational time, what you can see is that ideas that were once considered fringe can move very rapidly to the mainstream. They can be bad ideas, they can be good ideas. They can be superficial ideas, they can be ideas, as Wilf has put it, over almost a century, that address root causes. And this is a time when it's our job to make sure that the ideas that have been brewing at the fringe and that move into the mainstream are the good ideas that do address those root causes. And I predict that you will see green jobs inserted into all kinds of legislation in these years ahead. That's an idea from the fringe that is moving rapidly into the mainstream because it helps to solve some key problems. Another example. Some of you are from Philadelphia, where your head office is. And in Philadelphia, I see an opportunity for another idea from the fringe to move into the mainstream. And it's one you all have been passionate about for a great number of years. And I think this is your time. And that idea is to abolish nuclear weapons. We thought we sort of had it settled. You know, only a few countries had this, and we sort of had these agreements, and nothing really awful had happened that we knew of. And people were a little complacent. But now it's very clear that this thing is totally out of the bag. And how many countries would the United States like to invade to stop this? My understanding is that there's 40 countries that basically have the technology, or, you know, that they could go down that road. So it's clear that bombing and invasion is not the answer. There's only one answer, and it's the answer you all have been advocating for such a long time. And you have this Reaching Critical Will project. Yes! What could be more important? In that issue of Yes Magazine that most of you have from last night, there's an interview with George Shultz. George Shultz, Republican, Secretary of State under Ronald Reagan. He's saying, we got to get rid of these nuclear weapons. We got to get rid of all of them. Ours too. We have to lead the way. You know, when you can get the stalagmites of the grassroots going up and the stalactites of the elites coming down to meet, you've got a strong column that can lift up a vision and make change. I think your time has come on this issue for an idea from the fringe to move straight into the mainstream, and what it will take is the energy of every single person in this room. And I just want to underline for you the importance of this bill, a resolution pending in the Congress. In the House, it's called H.R. 362, and it is the road to war with Iran. It mandates the inspection of all personnel and all goods that enter or leave Iran. That is called an embargo. It's not named so in the bill, in the resolution, but that's what it is. And embargoes are an act of war. This is something that needs to be spoken out about, publicized. I have been amazed at how little mention thereof is of this resolution, even in publications like the New York Times or on NPR. At Yes Magazine, we did a column on it. Sarah Van Gelder wrote a column on it night before last, sent it out to every outlet we know, and already it is getting picked up. You can find that if you go to yesmagazine.org on the web and look for her blog on the left side, and forward that link to everybody you know. People need to know about this. The long-term goal is the one that we'll set out to achieve at its very founding, and that is to end the use of war as an instrument of international policy. Some of you may have heard of the Article 9 movement. Are you aware of that? Article 9 is an article of the Japanese Constitution that says that no nation has the sovereign right to declare war on another nation. Now, this is familiar territory for Wilf. You have been doing this for a long, long time. But it's wonderful to see the resurgence as people get sick and tired of these wars. As my friend Van Jones said just the other day, he said, you know, the people who told you that bombing and torture would bring you peace, they've had their turn. Now it's our turn. This is a transformational time. This is our time. It's our turn. And we are the ones we've been waiting for. Thank you.